All right, hello Zoom. If you guys haven't taken a class with me before, my name is Lexi. I like to do a little mic check just to make sure that everything is going okay. So let's jump into our warm up. But if during it, one of you could let me know if you can hear me okay, or I guess if you can't hear me, that would be more important, then I will come on up and fix it. But without further ado, because I know we are right on time, let's get started with 30 seconds of marching. So we're just gonna be marching in place for the next 30 seconds. Starting to warm up that lower body, swinging the arms a little bit to target upper body as well. All right, 10 more seconds on here, and then we're going to be switching into high knees. All right, let's switch it to high knees in 3, 2, 1. Doing a little same velocity here. You can see if I turn to the side, your knees are coming right up to the belly button. Keep on doing that. I'm going to see what's in the chat. Can you hear me fine? Awesome. Sweet. Thank you, Julie. Glad to hear you all can hear me okay. You have about 10 more seconds on those high knees, and then we're going to be switching to butt kickers. All right, let's switch to butt kickers in 3, 2, and 1. Make sure you actually are reaching up with your heels to tap that gluteus maximus. Halfway there. All right, let's transition to jumping jacks in 3, 2, and 1. Halfway through those jumping jacks. All right, we're switching to bring our alternate hand to foot in 3, 2, and 1. So nice wide like a starfish. Reach down and bring that alternate hand down to tap or close to your foot. We're starting to target the core specifically, warming up that area as it will be the main muscle group we're focusing on today. Ten more seconds here. All right, in 3, 2, and 1. I want you to stand nice and tall. Think about walking down out into a plank and coming back up onto your feet. Continue doing that for the next 30 seconds. This is an opportunity to look at yourself and practice your plank form. Try to make sure that when you're coming down, you are coming all the way down so you are in one straight line from your shoulder down to your heels. Because the plank is just one of those fundamental core exercises that we are going to want to master by the end of this quarter. All right, for 3, 2, and 1. All right, next we're going to be staying down in that plank position, switching from plank up to down dog, and coming back down into plank. We're here for the next 30 seconds. Another great opportunity to really practice getting down nice and low into that plank form. For 3, 2, and 1. All right, and that is our warm-up for the morning. I'll explain a little bit about the different steps that we'll be doing today, and we will jump on into the first one. So our first set of the day is a full body core workout. This means that these are exercises that work not just the core, but also glutes, hamstrings, all the other muscles of the legs and the arms, as the core is really the stabilization for the entire rest of your body. Next, we're going to be moving into a set of exercises that modifies some of the basic ones we learned next week. That's going to cover our second and third set of the day. The first part is full body. Second part is focused on the core, getting a little bit more complex than we did last week. Let me know if you have any questions in the chat about this. But with no further ado, we're going to jump into 12 lunges to standing oblique crunches. What this looks like is coming down into a lunge form, putting the weight on your back heel and on the ball, or sorry, weight on your front heel and on the ball of your back foot, coming down into a lunge, and then coming up, bringing that back knee up and twisting the upper body, making sure your shoulder stays in line with your elbow and comes to meet that knee. We're gonna do 6 of these on each side. Go, please, at the same pace as me. I'll count up and down so that we can make sure we're working the muscles evenly. So let's start with 2. Okay, ready? Start with 4, 3, 2, 1. Beginning on that same leg. 4, 3, 2, and 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more on this side. 4, 3, 2, and 1. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, that's that side. We're going to switch legs now, making sure to place that weight in the front heel and the back ball of the foot, hands behind our head. 4, 3, 2, and twist on 1. 4, 3, 2, and twist on 1. 4, 3, 2, and twist on 1. 4, 3, 2, and 1. 2 more here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. 4, 3, 2, and 1. For those of you that might be wondering why I'm counting, if we were all in this lovely room together, you'd be able to hear the beat of the music a little bit more. Regardless, we will push on in this manner until we can be together again. Next set in this full body circuit is 12 crab kicks. So I'd love you to get down on the floor. Place your feet flat on the ground and your hands with fingertips pointing towards your bum. Raise off to lift your foot a little bit and bring each leg up. That's 1. Here's 2. These are the crab kicks we're going to be doing 12 of today. You can join me now for 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 more, push up, 11, and 12. Reminder with these to make sure that your butt is not sagging, that you're fully lifting your hips, not all the way to a straight tabletop, but just so that we can get it off the ground and create that pressure. Next one we're going to be doing in this full body set is mountain climbers. I'm going to do 12 of those, so flip over into that good plank position that we practiced earlier. Let's come onto our hands or forearms, whichever is more comfortable for you. I'm personally going to go on my hands. So let's begin by bringing our knee to our elbow on one side. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, those were our mountain climbers. Last exercise in this full body set is a down dog to plank, just as we practiced before. We're going to be doing it with a little bit more slow, controlled motion this time. So let's begin in the plank form. And in 3, 2, 1, shifting back into that down dog. That's 1. Coming all the way down into plank again. 2. And 3. 4. 5. 6. Halfway there, really tightening the abs intentionally here. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. One more. And 12. All right, that is our full body set for the day. We're going to be doing that one more time before we move on to the next circuit. But I'm going to give you a 1-minute break here to grab a drink of water, towel off if you're already feeling sweaty, whatever you need to do. And we will come back together in about 45 seconds. Feel free to ask any questions about form or muscle groups in the chat. If you have any of those, I'm happy to answer this time. You've got about 30 seconds left on that break. Remembering that we're going to be starting with those standing lunges to oblique crunches again. And about 15 seconds. This one really targets the obliques, which are these muscles that run up along the side of the abdominals. They're worked by twisting motions, with many of which we're going to do later today. All right, let's put our hands behind our head, get ready to lunge in 3, 2, 1. Down for 4, 3, up for 2, twist on 1. 4, 3, 2, and 1. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whoa. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ensuring that you're twisting your entire upper body here, keeping the shoulder completely in line with the elbow. Elbows pressed back towards the wall behind you. 1 more here. 2, and 1. All right, we're going to be switching legs. Make sure to put that weight in the front heel and the back ball of the foot. It's down in 4, 3, 2, whoop, and 1. Down in 4, 3, 2, and 1. 4, 3, 2, and 1. 4, 3, 2, and 1. 2 more here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Making sure to place the back foot back carefully so we don't lose our balance. And 1. All right. Those were our lunges. Jumping right up next into those crab kicks. This time, I'd like to encourage you, if you're feeling comfortable with this exercise, to add a toe touch. Working also that upper body and crunching the abs in the center. So let's jump into this in 3, 2, 1. That's 1. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Really pushing the shoulders away from the wrist here. And that's our last one. Flipping over to jump into those mountain climbers. Already halfway through this circuit. I can nearly taste that 1-minute break. Let's come up into that plank form in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Elbow to knee for 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Push yourself away from your wrist if you're starting to feel tired. And that's our 12. All right, last exercise in this circuit is that down dog 2 plank exercise. Let's get ready, get back into that good plank form. Lift those knees and raise those hips back for 1. And 2. Coming all the way forward, sinking the hips into a full plank. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 more. 11. 1 more, and 12. Whew. Coming down to rest on those knees. You get another 1-minute break here, and I will explain our next set while we do. So this next set of exercises is going to focus more specifically on the core rather than sort of the full body circuit that we just completed. We are going to be modifying the crunch exercise by doing figure 4 crunches, which are a variant that allows you to target those obliques, the ones we talked about being used in rotational movement. We're also going to be working on the plank, this time doing it more on our forearms, and also adding a modification that allows us to target the obliques rather than just the rectus abdominis, which are sort of those classic six-pack muscles that are in the front that you always tend to associate abdominals with. All right, we have about 15 seconds left on our break. So I would love if you can get down into that crunch position. We're going to begin with some normal crunches just to kind of really solidify our form on these. So you want your back flat on the ground at all points during this exercise. Hands gently supporting the head so that we don't strain the neck. And in 3, 2, 1, let's lift those shoulders up and bring them back down with control. You're going to be doing these at your own pace. I'm not going to be counting you, but I still encourage you to try and do them slowly until you feel you have the form down, remembering that we are looking straight up at the ceiling, trying to lift our shoulders off the ground, crunching upwards rather than inwards. You have about 15 seconds left on this exercise. Think about tightening the abs as we reach the top of this movement and then slowly lowering back down with control. In 3, 2, and 1. All right, we're taking a 15-second break here before moving into those figure 4 crunches. The rest of the exercises today are going to be on 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. So for figure 4 crunches, you want to cross the opposite ankle over the knee. We're going to put one arm behind the head. And again, twisting that entire upper body, making sure that your elbow stays in line with your shoulder towards your knee. Let's jump into this one in 3, 2, and 1. Twisting that entire upper body, working specifically this left oblique. This round of 45 seconds, we are just going to be targeting this one side. Then we're going to do the other side in the next round. We have 4 rounds of this circuit. So by the end, we'll have gotten both of them twice. 15 seconds left here. Use this as an opportunity to think about your form, to think about really tightening those abdominals and keeping that back flat on the ground. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here's your 15-second break. Next exercise in this set is going to be one of the classic planks. Then in the one after that, we'll be modifying this plank. So let's start out with that, getting into that proper plank form. Jumping into this exercise in 3, 2, and 1. Raising yourself up on your feet. Feeling out how long you can comfortably hold the plank. Feeling out whether you prefer to do it on your hands or on your forearms. Feel free to switch partway through if you sort of are new to this exercise and want to understand which one is more comfortable for you. I just want to remind you in this upper position to not lock your joints. You want to make sure to still have a slight bend in your elbows. 15 more seconds here. Come back down onto your forearms if you're feeling it. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, this is our 15 seconds of rest. For the next exercise, I'd like you to try and do the plank down on your forearms just because it makes it a little easier to start out with so we can understand this one. We're going to be doing rainbow planks, which involves coming to that good plank form and then gently twisting the hips and rolling on the toes of the feet to dip each side of your hips down towards the mat. This is not necessarily going to mean your hips will touch the mat. It's just to work those obliques with that rotational movement. Let's jump into this one in 3, 2, and 1. Coming up into that good plank form, gently twisting the hips to make that nice rainbow arc. Remembering to not let gravity do all the work here. We want to be doing all of these movements slowly and with control. 15 seconds left here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back down onto the mat. That is our first set of modifying the basics. As you can see, we started with the crunch and then added that oblique component by doing a figure 4 crunch next to the plank, and then added that oblique component by doing a rainbow plank. We're gonna go through that one 3 more times, really perfect these movements as they're just so foundational to what we'll be doing for the rest of the quarter. And then we're gonna move into our third set of the day. So you have about 30 seconds left. Coming back down into that crunch position. All right, meet me down on the mat. Place your hands gently behind your head. Let's jump back into those original crunches in 3, 2, and 1. Raising up towards the ceiling, eyes looking straight up ahead. Doing these at your own pace. And remembering here not to tug on the head. We don't want to put any more strain on the neck, just gently supporting it. $15 more seconds here. All right, get another good one in for 3, 2, and 1. Taking that 15-second break, flipping or quickly moving so that you can put your opposite ankle onto that opposite knee. Working this time the right oblique. Let's begin figure 4 crunches in 3, 2, and 1. Making sure that the elbow and shoulder stay completely in line. So you have to lift that entire upper body off the ground. I want you to think about at the very top of this movement, tensing the abs so you can really feel the oblique that's being worked in this particular movement. All right, get another good one in for 3, 2, and 1. Those were our oblique crunches. Next, you're going to be moving over into that plank. All right, coming on up to that plank in 3, 2, and 1. I'm starting here on my forearms or on my hands, and then I'll probably transition to my forearm partway through. This is a great way to sort of maintain your motivation throughout your plank, because I know it can get a little bit boring. Just hold one exercise for 45 seconds. We are about halfway through now. So if you'd like to, I encourage you to come down on your forearms and sort of feel out whether you prefer this configuration to the other one. All right, and holding this one for 3, 2, and 1. Coming down to that 15-second break. So feel free to come up onto your knees and sort of twist the upper body here. Getting ready to move into those rainbow planks. Option to this time, try it on your hands if you prefer. You can also dip the hips either side, but it does cause a little bit more strain on the lower back. So if you've had lower back issues in the past, we recommend sticking with the forearm. Let's jump into it in 3, 2, and 1. Twisting the hips gently to either side. $15 more seconds here. Coming up onto the hands or going down onto the forearms if you need a little variety. Push your shoulders away from your hands for 3, 2, and 1. Whew. All right, you get another whole 1-minute break here. After that, we're going to jump back into those crunches. If you're just catching your breath and just waiting for us to get back to the exercise, I would love to hear in the chat what you feel like your level of effort is on a scale of 1 to 10 right now. 1 being, Lexi, I thought you said this was going to be difficult, and 10 being, I'm absolutely out of breath. I'm passed out on my mat. Can we take it a little bit slower? helpful for me to just sort of understand whether I should provide harder versions or easier versions to the rest of the class. All right, 15 more seconds on this break. So I'd love for you to get ready to get back into that crunch position. All right, let's jump into this one in 3, 2, and 1. Ensuring that we're lifting up straight ahead of us, keeping that back flat on the mat. I know the crunches aren't the most crazy ab exercise we could do, but remember, this is only week 2, and we want to make sure that we can absolutely master those basics before moving on to wilder exercises. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Taking that 15-second break. Picking up that left leg and bringing the ankle over onto the knee. Hand behind your head and get ready to jump into those figure 4 crunches again in 3, 2, and 1. Twisting that entire upper body. I want to see your right shoulder come up all the way off the mat. A reminder here that you don't actually have to have your elbow touch your knee either. It's better to sort of push your knee back and try to have it completely in line with your ankle than it is to be moving it forward just to touch. All right, get a couple more quality ones in there. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Flipping over onto that plank position. All right, let's get into it in 3, 2, and 1. This time I'm going to tell you when we're about a third of the way through and see if you can switch down into either the forearm or the hand position, whichever one you are not in. And then we're going to come back up or go back down. All right, let's switch down into those forearms. We're about a third of the way through the interval. Again, reminder that today is all about figuring out what works for you so that when we're doing planks for the rest of the quarter, you can know which position you prefer. All right, switching in 3, 2, and 1. Making sure that no matter whether you're on your forearm or your hands, you're keeping those hips down. You're making sure that you have a nice straight line all the way from your shoulder to your heel. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Taking that 15-second break before we move back into those rainbow planks. All right, let's jump into rainbow planks in 3, 2, and 1. Come up into your plank form, gently dipping either hip, rolling back and forth on the balls of your feet, or planting your toes and just sort of shifting that upper body depending on how your stability is. "20 seconds left here. "4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Here's that 1-minute break. Make sure you grab some water. I'm going to come on up and check the chat, see if any of you were able to tell me what your exertion level was. Again, on a scale of 1 to 10, we can figure out how hard we should make the rest of the class. Okay, cool. Sounds like some of us are at a 6.5 to 7.5. That's exactly the range where we want to be. That means that we are working hard enough to push our body, but not necessarily so hard that we are going to pass out, lose our breath, or hurt ourselves. All right, we have about 10 more seconds. Get ready for our last round of this set, and then we're moving into a new set of exercises. Into that good crunch position in 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's lift the shoulders off the mat and lower them back down gently, keeping that lower back nice and flat on the mat. Got about 15 seconds left on this one. Remembering to lift those shoulders straight up off the floor as if someone has strings attached to you and the ceiling. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take that 15-second break. Bring that other leg up for our last round of figure 4 crunches. Going to be jumping into these in 3. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Not going to cut you short on your break. All right, in 3, 2, and 1. Let's lift that entire shoulder off the ground, keeping it in line with the elbow. Fifteen seconds left on this exercise. Thinking about really tightening that right oblique and the muscles overall, especially as we reach the very top of this exercise. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering back down for that 15-second break. All right, let's flip over for our last planks of the day. Going to start with that classic plank. Getting ready in 3, 2, and 1. Coming up into that plank position. Remembering if you are on your hands to keep a slight bend in the elbows. All right, and come down onto those forearms. And let's come back up onto those hands for the last 15 seconds. Thinking about really intentionally tightening those abs, tightening your bum. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, shaking everything out, especially rotating those wrists. I know there's a couple rounds of planks can get pretty hard on them, but luckily this is our last plank of the day. Let's get ready for rainbow planks again in 3, 2, and 1. Coming up into that plank position, straight line all the way from shoulder to heel. Gently dipping our hips to either side to target the obliques with those rotational movements. Feel free to switch positions if your joints are getting a little sore. All right, keep pushing for 3, 2, and 1. Woo! And that was our second set of the day. We have one more set to go. These exercises are a little bit more complex than just our traditional crunches and planks, but I'm glad that we were all able to get through that one so that we can make sure to really master the form of those exercises before we move into the more complicated ones. Next, we're going to be doing dead bugs, and I'll show you a modification on that. I know that we liked dead bugs last class, so I really wanted to incorporate them today. We're also going to be learning the proper form for Flutter Kicks and how we can modify that exercise. We're only going to do this last set 2 times instead of the usual 4, because we don't have exercises that rely on either side of the body. All right, you have about 30 seconds left in your break. I'm gonna come up and check the chat, see if we have any questions first. Okay, looks like we are doing pretty well. I'm gonna kick off in just a few seconds in dead bug, so please join me with your feet up straight in the air, back flat on the mat, and arms up ahead of you. Oops, gotta move my bottle. All right, we're gonna begin with dead bugs by bringing the alternate arm and alternate leg down. I really wanna remind you here to keep your back flat on the mat at all times. So if you can't bring your leg down past this without arching your back, this is as far as you should bring your leg. This is as far as I bring mine. Let's jump into this exercise in 3, 2, and 1. Bringing alternate leg and arm down, and then all the way back up. Switching to the opposite arm and leg. This move really works your entire core, but focuses particularly on the rectus abdominis, those frontal abs that make up the classic six-pack, the one that we all think of when we think of a core class. All right, you have about 15 more seconds on this exercise. Remember to be moving down, slow and controlled movements. We don't want gravity to do work for us. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Those are our dead bugs. Feel free to take a sip of water during this 15-second break. Next, we're going to be moving into toe touches, which are not so aptly named because we actually don't want to reach for our toes. We want to reach up ahead as if we were with the crunch, thinking about lifting our entire shoulders off the ground and pointing or pulling them up straight towards the ceiling. We're going to jump into these in 3, 2, and 1. So feet up straight ahead of us and bringing those arms straight up towards the ceiling. If this is putting a bit too much strain on your lower back, feel free to bring your knees to 90-degree angles, making sure to still press that lower back into the mat. Thinking about lifting straight up towards the ceiling, as well as just the rectus abdominis, those front muscles. We are also working the muscles that run back along the spine, the erector spinae, which are the lesser known muscles of the abdominals, but still equally important. Keep on going for another couple seconds. Rest in 3, 2, and 1. All right, that was our modification of dead bugs. Next, we're going to be learning how to properly do flutter kicks. One thing I really want to emphasize here is that I do not want you putting your hands underneath your bum. A lot of the time, people think that they can go nice and low and keep our hands under our butt, but that really just shifts the work to our quads rather than our abs, what we're trying to target. Instead, if you need to make this exercise a little easier, bring the feet closer to the ceiling. It gets challenging the further and further down you go, and so if you need to make it a little easier, it'll work your abs better to bring it closer up to 90 degrees than it will to put your hands under your bum. Let's press those hands into the mat on either side, making sure that we're keeping that back flat, putting our feet out at about 45-degree angle to start in 3, 2, 1. Just gonna gently move our feet past each other in those flutter kicks. Feel free to bring them down a little bit further if you need challenging, but making sure that your back is staying flat on the mat at all times to protect your spine. I actually only like to go down this far because it's as far as I find I can go without lifting my back off the mat. Fifteen more seconds here. Press those hands into the mat, engage the muscles of the core. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, those were our flutter kicks. Next exercise in this set is going to be bicycle kicks. So we're staying in the same position. This time we're just going to be hovering our feet at about this distance and moving them in and out of the body. This exercise works not only the muscles of the lower abdominals, but also the quads and the glutes. And it's working our way up to bicycle crunches, which we will maybe get to next week. All right, without further ado, let's jump into this one in 3, 2, and 1. Oops. Keeping our back flat on the mat. Head down, focusing solely on mastering this movement of the lower body right now. About 15 seconds left here. Really making sure to push the back into the mat. That'll help engage the core, tightening those muscles. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's rest those feet back on the floor for a whole 1 minute break. We're gonna be doing that set one more time, and then we move into cool down for the day. Feel free to gently twist the lower spine. I like to try and do this during my 1 minute break because I know that a lot of those rotational exercises with the oblique can be a little challenging on that lower back. So you want to make sure to stretch it out in between. All right, we have about 15 seconds left on our break, so getting ready to jump back into those dead bugs. Raising our feet so that they are going all the way straight up. Bring our arms to the same position. Let's jump into this one in 3, 2, and 1. Opposite arm and leg, only as far as can keep your back flat on the mat, and coming back up. Reminder that one of the goals here is to keep the arm and legs that are still up in the air as still as you possibly can. It's about control of those limbs as well as intentional movement of the others. All right, keep pushing this one. 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's our dead bug. Taking that 15-second break before we jump back into those toe touches. All right, let's come back into it in 3, 2, and 1. Starting either with feet at 90-degree angles or straight up to the ceiling. Regardless, lifting straight up as if you're trying to touch the ceiling above you. Pressing that back flat into the mat to protect your spine. All right, get a couple more quality ones in. I know you have them in you. In 3, 2, and 1. All right, taking that 15-second break to get ready for those flutter kicks that we're going to do. Once again, remembering the most important part of flutter kicks is keeping your back flat on the mat and your hands pressed into the mat next to it, not putting them under your bum, as that shifts the work from your abs to your quads. And we're here to work the abs today. All right, let's jump into flutter kicks in 3, 2, and 1. Bringing those feet down to a comfortable angle. I like to start at about 45 degrees and then just gently kicking them past each other. Reminder that if this is hurting your lower back, to bring them a little bit more close to vertical while doing those flutter kicks. All right, keep kicking for 3, 2, and 1. Coming back down for that break. Next, going to be moving into bicycle crunches, and that is your workout for the day. Let's get ready to jump into them now in 3, 2, and 1. Trying to keep your shins parallel to the ground throughout this exercise. Like I said before, this one's going to level up to bicycle crunches, but it's crucial to get this lower movement right, as it's also a key part of working those lower abdominals. About halfway through now. Thinking about rotating your hips back to press that lower back into the mat. For 3, 2, and 1. There we go. That is our workout for the day. If you have a moment to take time and stretch, I would highly recommend standing up and gently twisting the upper body to really shake out those muscles of the spine. Coming down onto the mat and getting into a cobra pose where we have our hands on the ground, gently stretching the muscles of the abdominals. You can even look up here. And coming onto all fours, taking a couple rounds of cat-cow. Alternating between arching the back upwards and down to really stretch out that lower back. All right, and that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much, everyone, for coming. Again, my name is Lexi. I teach this class as well as Total Body on Tuesdays. We'd love to see you all again. And we'd love to hear what your favorite exercise from today was in the chat. It helps me write class plans that you all actually enjoy. Other than that, have a wonderful Thursday and a happy MLK weekend.